Namaste. On behalf of Cambridge School, Greater Noida, Dr. Kalyani Roy, Mr. Vikram Roy, Mrs. Snehata Krishnan, Indranil Gupta, I welcome you to this program on the effects of winter, air pollution, and festivals in Delhi, which is indeed a dangerous cocktail. तो आज बात प्रदूषण की, आज बात जहरीली वायु की, और आज बात आपके और हमारे सांस लेने के अधिकार की। हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं बहुत ही खास मेहमान। I would like to welcome all of you on the topic for today, which is the effects of winter, air pollution and festivals in Delhi, a dangerous cocktail. स्वागत और अभिनंदन सभी का। हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं जाने माने एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट मिस्टर चंद्रभूषण जी, नाउ सीईओ आई फॉरेस्ट। बहुत स्वागत आपका सर, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर जॉइनिंग अस। हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं मिस्टर शरद दास, रीजनल डायरेक्टर पार्टनरशिप बक्स न्यू यूनिवर्सिटी यूके। थैंक यू शरद सर फॉर जॉइनिंग अस, नमस्ते एंड वेलकम। हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं मिस्टर आर रश्मि, former Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and Distinguished Fellow at TERI. Namaste and swagat to you, sir. We have with us Snigdha Das, Writer, Editor, Associate Editor, Down to Earth at CSE. Welcome to you all, and thank you so much for sparing your valuable time to be with us today. I welcome you to this special webinar hosted by Cambridge School, Greater Noida. A little bit about the history of Cambridge Schools. We started in the year 1931. सबसे पहले ये काम आलोक चंद्र देव ने किया था। उनका एक विजन था भारत को समृद्ध बनाने का, सशक्त करने का, और तब से ये स्कूल्स चले आ रहे हैं और हजारों बच्चे यहाँ से पास आउट होते हैं। So my congratulations to all the Cambridge fraternity and I welcome all the esteemed panelists once again. शुरुआत करती हूँ, आपसे जानना चाहूंगी चंद्रभूषण जी, national capital these days is in the grip of an emergency triggered by air pollution. Delhi's air quality has begun to show a trend towards a very poor category, forcing authorities to kick in an emergency plan and even getting doctors from all over, as we are also battling the Wuhan virus, the pandemic. So, यहाँ मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगी सर, इस दूषित हवा के बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
धन्यवाद निधि जी, and I would like to thank Cambridge School for inviting me to this very interesting webinar. It is an opportunity for us to interact with teachers and children, which is very, very important. तो मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि विंटर के समय और इस साल 2020 is a very unique situation because three things are interacting right now. On one hand, you have COVID. On the other hand, you have air pollution, which becomes severe during winter. And the third aspect is winter itself. ठंड के दिनों में people try to remain indoors और जिसके कारण COVID बढ़ने का chance है. Air pollution itself affects our respiratory system and COVID also attacks our respiratory system. So there is a triangulation of factor which is happening right now, which is likely to exacerbate the impact of pandemic. और हम दिल्ली में देख रहे हैं आज के दिन में cases बढ़ रहे हैं. In fact, 2 days back, we had the highest number of death in any single day, 130 plus in Delhi. So these three factors are coming together and increasing our susceptibility to this pandemic. जहाँ तक air pollution का सवाल है निधि जी, winter के समय बहुत से फैक्टर साथ में आते हैं दिल्ली में जिसके कारण कि प्रदूषण सीवियर होता है. एक तरफ वेस्टर्न इंडिया में पंजाब, हरियाणा और वेस्टर्न उत्तर प्रदेश में स्टबल बर्निंग होती है. दूसरी तरफ से मेट्रोलॉजिकल कंडीशंस जो हैं वो काफी एडवर्स है दिल्ली के लिए विंटर में. और विंटर में हम ज्यादा बायोमास भी जलाते हैं. अभी तो आपने एक एपिसोड देखा है सीवियर पोल्यूशन का, लेकिन दिसंबर में आप देखिएगा एक और एपिसोड होगा सीवियर पोल्यूशन का, क्योंकि लोग ठंड में बहुत लकड़ियां और काउ डंग केक चलाते हैं ठंड से बचने के लिए। तो उस समय भी एक और एपिसोड आप देखिएगा सीवियर पोल्यूशन का। तो ये सारे फैक्टर्स के कारण दिल्ली में पोल्यूशन बहुत ज्यादा है अभी के समय।
Absolutely, and as we talk, I think the air pollution numbers are somewhere, the air quality index is now between 486 to 500, which is very, very severe. तो क्या सर मैं आपसे फिर से जानना चाहूंगी, since you worked for so long in this area, ऐसा क्या था कि हमें अभी तक पता ही नहीं चल रहा कि हमें करना क्या है, और अब एक न्यू लॉ आई है?
देखिए, हमें मालूम है हमें करना क्या है, ऐसी बात नहीं है हमें मालूम नहीं है, लेकिन हमारी प्रायोरिटीज थोड़ी मिसप्लेस्ड रही हैं। अगर आप देखिएगा किसी भी देश में वायु प्रदूषण का सबसे मेजर फैक्टर है कंबस्शन। व्हाट यू बर्न लीड्स टू एयर पोल्यूशन। सो इफ यू लुक एट द एनर्जी बास्केट ऑफ इंडिया, we burn coal, we burn biomass, we burn oil, and we burn gas. These are the four major things, and apart from certain amount of waste also we burn. Now, if you take all five of them together, then 85% of our combustion is coal and biomass. So
Correct,
India
correct.
in totality burns about 2 billion tons of material every year. We burn
Absolutely.
about 2 billion tons. And in that, about 1.7 billion, 1.5 billion ton will be coal and biomass put together. Coal, biomass, including stubble burning. तो जब तक हम कोयला और बायोमास को अगर हम अटैक नहीं करेंगे और उनको कंट्रोल नहीं करेंगे, हमारे वायु प्रदूषण कम नहीं होगा। तो हमारी जो सारी फोकस रही है वो बहुत ऑटोमोबाइल सेंट्रिक रही है और सिटी सेंट्रिक रही है। हम नेचुरल सोर्सेज ऑफ पोल्यूशन पे भी ध्यान नहीं दिए हैं। इंडिया में डेजर्टिफिकेशन भी हो रहा है जिसके कारण डस्ट बढ़ रहा है। तो जो मेजर सोर्सेज ऑफ पोल्यूशन है, अगर हम सिग्निफिकेंट रिडक्शन चाहते हैं एयर पोल्यूशन का, तो हमें कोल के पोल्यूशन को कम करना पड़ेगा, बायोमास बर्निंग कम करना पड़ेगा, और नेचुरल डस्ट है जो कि शहर में भी है और शहर से बाहर भी आता है, उसको भी कम करने की जरूरत पड़ेगी।
Absolutely, कोल कैसे कम किया जाएगा या नहीं किया जाएगा, and how it is central to our world view of India, वो बाद में बात करेंगे. Now I'd like to ask Dr. Sarath Das, as cases are worsening because of air pollution, so you've been really instrumental, and you've been taking fight against corona to the next level. I have been following you now for months. So how do you look at India battling COVID and coupled with pollution? Sarath sir.
Thank you so much, Nidhi, for inviting me to be a part of the webinar. I extend my thanks to your Cambridge International School and my due regards to all the co-panelists. It's really bad. I've been in the city for many years, and I moved to Delhi in early 90s and lived in the city for many years before I moved to UK and Australia. And then I came back after many years, and I have said that even things have worsened over the years. And when this pandemic started in early January, so we began to have an effect in the month of March. And we exactly knew that this is going to be worse in the month of winter. And as my colleague and my co-panelist correctly pointed out, it's all about the conversions of this biomass and the way it has deteriorated. And if you look at the drift and the mist emissions from the cooling towers, that are also a source of a very particulate matter, as they're widely used in the industry and other sources for dissipating the heat in the cooling systems. And we somehow have not been woken up to this. You see, I mean, you have this Badarpur thermal power station. It was not closed. It was running till 2018. When we started having this effect of air pollutions in late 90s. And CNG came, and CNG tried to alleviate it to a large extent, but it was still not the way we expected it. So we do have a lot of contributing factors, and now I'm more concerned about the epicenter of. I'm not talking about the India's epicenter. The world's epicenter of the COVID now is Delhi. And look at the number of the deaths, which is spiking. where other countries still have gone through, they are into the third outbreak now. Most of the cities are through the second outbreak, and we do not know at what stage we are. We are definitely at a stage of community level of transmission. And at a time when this, the poor air quality is actually ruling the ruling the roost, we really need to be very concerned about it.
Absolutely.
One,
Yes. Yes.
one is the motor vehicle emissions. Second, I mentioned about this the stubble burning, which is being drifted. The wind is drifting towards us. And the third is, of course, we have still, if you look at the Delhi, which is made it a kerosene free, about a large number of households use LPG for cooking. But still, the remaining 10% use kind of a crop residue, your cow dung, other kind of thing, or even coal for cooking. It's still not over.
Absolutely.
So,
I'd like to stop you here, sir, and take Mr. Rashmi here because you've elaborated on the causes. We need to talk about the measures as well. I'll come back to you a little later. Rashmi sir, आपका इतना लंबा अनुभव है सरकार के साथ. You've been special secretary. You are now distinguished fellow at TERI. तो सरकार क्या कर रही है? अलावा ब्लेम गेम के हमने एक नया कानून लागू किया है नवंबर 3, 2020 में, जो काफी कुछ हमें दिखाता है रास्ता कि किस तरह फ्रॉम अ स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी we can unify the system and fight against the pollution and combat the whole thing. What is your idea? Do you think this law is going to work? Do you think that blame game is going to stop, sir? Rashmi sir.
Thank you, Nidhi ji. First of all, my congratulations to the Cambridge School and all of you for organizing this very timely and topical webinar. Yes, the problems are, and the source of the problem are known to us. What we need to talk about is how we can organize our actions to address the problem. एक फंडामेंटल चीज जो हम नॉर्मली मिस कर जाते हैं कि we look at the symptoms of the problem. Pollution is a problem. Winter naturally aggravates the problem. Diwali comes, that aggravates the problem. ये problems तो हैं ही, लेकिन हमें इसके deep seated causes को समझ करके तब solutions निकालने होंगे. Now the problem is the kind of urbanization that we follow in our cities. And then you will notice that most of the discussion or the entire the discussion on pollution gets centered on cities. It doesn't talk about how we conduct the business of development of our cities. So unless we know the kind of urbanization and the kind of activities which we undertake in the urban areas, the problem of this pollution is likely to remain there, and maybe it will get intensified. As some of you might know, that out of the 20 most polluted cities in the world, the 10 of the biggest cities figure in there in that list. And the reason is the kind of urbanization, the kind of construction activities, we have followed, the kind of vehicular intensity with which we have allowed our transport system, private transport system to explode at the cost of public transport system. And overall, the kind of economic activities which are the bedrock of any urban settlement. Now, take the example of Delhi. As Mr. Chandrabhushan was pointing out, the sources of pollution are, number one, the industrial activities, how you generate power and how you use the power by different small scale industries located in Delhi. Now, fortunately, Badarpur power plant is now closed, and in the hinterland of around Delhi, now there are no major coal power producing plants. So that is not any major issue today. Today, but the industries are still a major issue. The kind of industries which are located inside the city or now on the fringe of the city, what kind of power system they are using? They are still using diesel sets because the power is unreliable. They use gas or diesel or some such other polluting fuel. So we will have to provide them alternative fuels. That's the first thing. The vehicular emissions, the kind of the number of vehicles which are flying on Delhi's roads is phenomenal in terms of millions. And do we have any plan to check the number of private vehicles and allow the public transport to be built up in an efficient
Sir,
manner?
allow me to interrupt you, sir. आपने कहा प्लान कौन बनाता, सरकार बनाती है। आप सरकार की तरफ से बताइए मुझे नया कानून कैसा है और वो किस तरह देख रहा है इस सबको। 18 मेंबर्स का आप लोगों ने इंस्टीट्यूट किया है। देयर इज अ स्पेशल ऑर्डिनेंस दैट हैज कम इन ऑन November 3, 2020. विल दैट लॉ बी एनी डिफरेंट इज माय क्वेश्चन सर। समाज क्या करेगा, समाज क्या करेगा वो तो हम जानते हैं, सरकार क्या करेगी?
नहीं, जब मैं समाज की बात कर रहा था तो उसमें सरकार भी इन्वॉल्व है। और मैं आई डोंट वांट टू नो, एज यू सेड, आई डोंट वांट टू इंडल्ज इन अ ब्लेम गेम, बिकॉज सरकार का मतलब है केंद्र सरकार और राज्य सरकारों दोनों मिलकर काम करती है।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
Unfortunately, the responsibility has not been properly understood by these different players, and that's why the problem persists. Fortunately, now with this law, now a statutory authority has been created which will be able to coordinate the actions not only of the Delhi government and the central government, but also of all the state governments in the neighboring region around Delhi, all the 5 states, Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, सब उसमें शामिल है. And the change which has now come with this law is that the final decision regarding the pollution matters regarding the pollution, setting the standards and also enforcing measures will be taken by this commission, and all the state governments will be bound to follow. Now, in addition to enforcing the measures, and this authority was earlier divided amongst these 5 states. हर स्टेट की प्रॉब्लम्स अलग हैं, कंस्ट्रेंट्स अलग हैं, रिसोर्सेज अलग हैं, प्रॉब्लम तो एक ही है, लेकिन सबके अलग अलग लेवल्स ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, वो अब नहीं होगा. With this commission, the one single decision taken by the commission will be a binding obligation on all the states. Obviously, there will be a question of resources and plans. With this law, the commission has also been authorized to prepare plans, which will again be implemented with the cooperation of the state governments. So there is one focal authority now to handle the pollution in Delhi, and it's a good change. This coordination of all the state governments' actions is a very major thing, and of course we will need resources, we will need scientific and technical backup, for which provisions have been made.
Absolutely, and that too in the time of COVID. So as you rightly mentioned, from sporadic we go towards efficient laws, as you have just said. और ये जानलेवा और जहरीली हवा के बारे में मैं और बात करना चाहूंगी. I will now like to ask this question to Dr. Dhameja. He is here with us today. Sir, आपसे जानना चाहूंगी कि how air pollution increases the ineffectivity of COVID-19, or kind of how does this make it bounce in a bigger way? How does it add to COVID-19 and the Wuhan virus, which globally we are facing, and in India the figures are rising, especially in Delhi?
Thank you, Nidhi, for inviting me, and good afternoon to all the panelists and the school management. And I appreciate their effort in bringing the panelists from different arena coming together and talking about a very relevant and pertinent issue of today. I also take this opportunity to introduce myself. Nidhi probably had too much on her mind. So I am Professor Rajendra Dhameja. So I am head of the neurology department at Lady Hardinge Medical College. And I have worked in Australia for a number of years before coming back to India. And I am a WHO fellow at National Institute of Epidemiology.
Sir, माफी चाहती हूँ अगर मैं ऐसे भूल हो गई, माफी चाहती हूँ.
No, that is fine. I just wanted to let the listeners know that who is speaking and who is who. So that is fine. So coming back to this combination of pollution, festivity, and winter, the temperature. So we have been publishing this in the national newspapers. A couple of days back, I published and requested the stakeholders to take strict action, and that resulted in the law of coming into fine of 2,000 rupees for mask. So what does the pollution does to the COVID-19? So that's a very important question as of now in Delhi and other parts of the country. as the winter comes in, particularly in the northern part of the country. So the air pollution, it has been seen. We start from the Italy. So in Italy, there are two provinces in Italy. They were seen that the highest number of PM 2.5, they mapped up the country's map, and the highest incident of COVID-19. So these two maps overlapped each other. So signifying that the provinces in Italy, which had highest 2.5, also had highest COVID-19 incidence. So that gives a direct relationship between pollution and the COVID-19 infectivity. The second study came from US, from the state of California and one more state, Louisiana, I think. There also they found out that 0.1% in 0.1 microgram increase in PM 2.5 gives rise to 7% more mortality. So
Correct.
that's again a direct evidence that air pollution will result in more COVID-19 cases, and the severity of cases, that means mortality. So this is about the science, what is the evidence as of now, why we are saying pollution is hazardous, or a pollution in combination with temperature and festivity is very, very dangerous for all of us. So coming to why it is more severe, why this evidence says, because the pollution comes with different elements of the lungs. It affects mainly our respiratory system. So if you are exposed to these the pollutants or the air pollution, your lungs defense mechanism goes haywire. So your lung defense, which usually expels your virals and other pathogens from the lungs to outside, they are damaged. So your defense is gone, your propensity to increase infections is increased, your lungs functions are compromised. If you're exposed for a longer period of time, you tend to get all these asthma, the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and other respiratory problems. So all these will lead to decreased resistance to the COVID-19 infection, and that results in the COVID-19 incidence and severity. So when this is combined with low temperature, like what happens now in winter, and the low humidity, dryness in the air. So that is a lethal combination for the COVID-19 like virus, the SARS-CoV-19 like virus. So when you have a decreased humidity, or you are indoors when you are not, you are well ventilated, your circulation of air goes inside the room only, and the virus has more time to infect you. So that's another thing. So in lower humidity, your cilia of the lung capillaries, along with the mucus, which try to expel the virus from the lungs to outside, that gets impaired, and the virus gets trapped and goes the inside of the lungs. So that gives the virus a chance to go deeper into the lungs and infect and cause COVID pneumonia. So that is in combination with low humidity in winters and the air pollution, that combination. In addition to that, the virus, when somebody is infected with virus, he coughs or sneezes, he explodes. That virus in the droplet form will go to a certain extent and then fall down. But when the air is lighter, when the pollution is there, this virus, along with the droplets, will try to be suspended in the air as a fomite, or this air pollutants act as a vehicle for the virus to stay in the air, so that the virus can infect the person who is susceptible, who is not infected, to a larger extent, or a larger exposure time. So that is a direct evidence or a direct pathogenesis that how the virus of COVID-19 in low humidity, low temperature, in combination with high PM 2.5 has more chances of infecting individuals.
So thank you so much for all that insight which you've given all our viewers. And as we talk, children have not been going to school, and they've not been going to playgrounds. There is none of that happening. And we're possibly even in India looking at a third wave. You know that, and I know that. And I'll take the next question now. It's Snigdha Das. Thank you so much for joining us, Snigdha. I want to ask you, like Dr. Dhamija just said, how big is this health hazard according to you? Snigdha, can we have you on screen, please? Can we have Snigdha on screen, please? Snigdha Das? Maybe there
Yes,
are.
ma'am, you're right.
Maybe there has been a lag or something like that. So I think I'll take the next question with Chandrabhushan sir. Sir.
Yes, Nidhi ji.
हाँ सर, ये बताइए ओवर रेगुलेशन या पॉलिसी को आप किस तरह देखते हैं? क्योंकि कई बार हमें लगता है कि इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ दिवाली एंड कई बार लगता है इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ पराली एंड इट इज ऑल अबाउट फार्मर्स. सो हाउ लॉन्ग कैन वी कंटिन्यू टू कीप ब्लेमिंग द फार्मर्स इज माय क्वेश्चन. क्या वो सही है और किस तरह रास्ता निकलेगा? आप इस फील्ड में इतने सालों से हैं और इतनी आपने बातें कही हैं. व्हाट आर द एक्चुअल मेजर्स जो आपको लगता है करना ही पड़ेगा? Because as India looks at the new president-elect in US now, if we talk of Joe Biden, he's also going to stress a lot on climate change, right?
निधि जी, मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा कि regulation has a role. It has an important role to play. But regulation has to have a mix of carrot and stick. हमारे देश में अब तक जो रेगुलेशन बने हैं वो डंडा मारने वाले रेगुलेशन बने हैं. We need a mix of carrot and stick policy. और दूसरी बात क्या है कि regulation works the best at the local level. If we think that we can regulate the country from Delhi, then we are misplaced. We have seen for the last 7 decades that centralization of regulation doesn't work. Regulation has to be decentralized. It is best locally when it is locally done, and when it is done with mix of mechanisms, not only fine or putting people in jail. Only those kind of coercive regulation doesn't work all the time. We should have mechanism which is a mix of promoting things, incentivizing solutions, as well as strict action if people are not following. The same thing will happen with the stubble burning. कोई ये किसानों की ब्लेम करने की बात नहीं है. स्टबल बर्निंग इज ए प्रॉब्लम ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी. आज से 20 साल पहले स्टबल बहुत कम बर्न होता था क्योंकि लोग मैनुअली धान की कटाई करते थे.
Correct.
जो हार्वेस्टिंग था वो मैनुअली था, वो जमीन के नीचे से काटते थे. देन कंबाइन हार्वेस्टर केम, ए मशीन which actually allows you to cut the grain and leave the stubble. अब फार्मर के पास ऑप्शन क्या है? या तो फिर वो दोबारा हाथ से काटे या कोई और मशीन लेके आए. वो महंगा पड़ता है. तो ये टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रॉब्लम है कंबाइन हार्वेस्टर, एंड वी विल हैव टू फाइंड एंड प्रमोट टेक्नोलॉजिकल सॉल्यूशन फॉर फार्मर. लेकिन ये कहना कि आप फार्मर को क्यों ब्लेम करते हो, फार्मर की कोई गलती नहीं है, ये सब गलत चीज है. आई थिंक दिस इज टू डाइवर्ट द रियल इशू. The real issue is there is massive amount of pollution that happens in Punjab and Haryana itself. दिल्ली में तो थोड़े आते हैं. मेजर पंजाब हरियाणा में जब स्टबल बर्निंग होता है, आप उस गांव में जाएंगी तो वहां खड़ा होना पॉसिबल नहीं है. तो ये है कि हमारी मीडिया वहां नहीं जाती है, तो वो रिपोर्ट नहीं करती है, तो ऐसा लगता है कि पंजाब और हरियाणा में पोल्यूशन नहीं है. That's what the general reportage looks like. But when you are there in Punjab and Haryana during that part of the year, you will realize that the pollution level is very high there also. So, as far as regulation is concerned, as I said, कि हमें regulation की industrial regulation, जैसे कि रश्मि जी ने बताया, बहुत important है industries पे regulation लगाना, क्योंकि industrial pollution को control करना is very very important. So regulation has an important role. Last point जो आपने बताया कि Joe Biden has come as the president of United States, president-elect. He comes with a very evangelical approach towards climate change. I have read him for the last few months, what he has said about climate change. So he comes with a very strong opinion on climate change, that US, and he's probably the first president who thinks that US needs to do more, which is very different. So once United States decide that I want to do more, then it will also place a lot of pressure on countries like India to do more.
Correct.
So हमारी जो climate change की जो अब तक policy रही है, हमें उसको modulate करने की जरूरत है, because we now have a US president who thinks that US should take leadership in action.
Absolutely,
and do far
yes.
more.
So we look forward to his presidency and his taking the oath, I think, on 20th January. Meanwhile, I'll take my next question to you, Sarat sir. Delhi residents have been complaining of sore throat, breathlessness, and we grappled with a kind of a third wave. So, Sarat sir, as Chandrabhushan sir also pointed out, that Diwali has added to this dangerous cocktail. And according to me, people have thrown caution to the wind. You know, if you look at markets, they are flooded. If you look at people, they're going for Diwali shopping. If I may put it in my own words, as I said it on my TV show 2 days back with Mr. Guleria, a kind of a COVID fatigue, a pandemic fatigue has set in all across India, at least. What would you like to say, sir? Elaborate on this. Sarat, sir. I think you need to unmute yourself, sir.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
If I've understood your questions correctly, Nidhi, are you talking about the post-COVID fatigue? Because if you really go by the Sena survey, and 30% of India is affected with the different strands of COVID. It's a reality, and if you Sera survey says that by February, we'll have about 50% of India would be affected with COVID, and we have no hope of vaccine till April. Now, if you talk about I haven't understood it clearly. It's an ongoing thing now, and my primarily talking about regulations now. I would like to see that how we really need to reflect on these the Air Prevention and Control Pollution Act, which we passed 1987. And there's one amendment which happened 6 years after that. There's no amendment. But last 33 years, and where there is a paradigm shift, the way we deal with air pollution in 23 years, but we haven't looked at this act. And I somehow believe that the punitive measures really work. I mean, look at the case in UK, where when until the time they impose a fine of £500 for not wearing a mask in a public place, whether you are in a public transport or you go to a supermarket, things were not happening. And if you have COVID, and if you are becoming a super spreader, knowingly you are putting other people's life at risk, you probably need to cough up an amount of about £10,000, which is a lot of money. I think this kind of measure really would work. Obviously, when you have to look at it very holistically, how to make it work on the ground. But somehow I believe that this is how we need to control it, because we are in the worst of the time now. 15% of the death is now attributed to air pollution. And I give you a contrast. Look at China. They said that about 27%, I'm not sure, but 27 and 29% of the COVID death is linked to air pollution, because China has a huge industry base. And you compare that with a country like New Zealand, which is obviously now claims to be COVID-free, only 1% of death. So industry pollutions definitely has contributed to the COVID death immensely. And luckily, though, we have moved out more all the industries out of Delhi, but still Delhi has remained with the massive vehicular pollutions, the stubble burning from the nearby cities, and the host of other factors that my co-panelists have discussed. So this is exactly what I need to tell, that
absolutely, that we need to be very careful and not throw caution to the wind, and we need to take full protection and wear a mask. And I think now a fine has also been levied by the central government. I think it's 2,000.
Still is not enough.
Yes.
2,000 rupees fine, you say, and you're still even not strictly imposing it.
Absolutely, sir. I'd like to now ask Rashmi, sir. I have some figures flashing in front of me. So Delhi's pollution index is now 44%. It stood at 40% in 2019, and we've had 3,261 farm fires till today, reported from Punjab, Haryana and Uttarakhand. तो रश्मि सर, किस तरह की लॉ आप देखते हैं अब, या क्या पेनल्टी या क्या फाइन या क्या एक्शन हम कर सकते हैं ऐसे लोगों के साथ, and to control Farali and such like problems? What is your view, sir? If you look at the entire landscape, the figures are alarming, sir.
Right, Nidhi ji, I would respectfully disagree with Sharad Dasji about the use of punitive measures alone for addressing a problem like pollution. In fact, in not only in case of pollution, but all environmental problems, we have experienced that use of penal measures, punitive measures alone doesn't work. In fact, you take the example of any law, right? The law has to be finely balanced. We need to we need to penalize the people who violate the law, but at the same time, we also need to enable them to ensure that their behavioral actions are in compliance with the statutory expectations. And this is what is not happening in cases like Delhi. Now, in case of stubble burning, we say that the farmers, the burning of paddy straw is the source of problem. It is true, but the farmer has a serious problem on his hand. He has to, remove the straw in the period of 20 to 25 days, and he either has to use the machine or his own hands to do this, which is cost intensive. Now, there are already laws in place in Punjab and Haryana to prevent banning the stubble burning in this period. There are also laws preventing them to extract groundwater in rest of the year, or at least in the pre-monsoon period when the water tables go down, and that is why the paddy planting has had to be shifted towards monsoon. So these are all problems, but unless we go to the root of the problem, we will not be able to solve only by tinkering at the symptoms. We need to enable the farmer through technology, and we need to create business models where farmers can sell their straw to the business community, to the industries, which can use this profitably. I mean, biodiesel can be generated. It can be used by paper industry. It can be used by thermal biomass to energy plants. There are different solutions possible, but we need to involve the industry, and we need to incentivize both industry and the farmer along with the use of penal measures. And that's what this commission does now. This commission will fortunately have the resources in place, and it will prepare a plan for action which will be implemented. So planning means providing them business models, resources, along with the making them aware of the problem, so that they can be held to account if they don't follow the law.
Absolutely, I tend to agree with every word you've said. In other words, viewers and children, what Sir was trying to say just now is a very, very valid point, that the industry, academia, policymakers, everybody on one platform, we have to get together to fight this. We cannot do it together. We cannot do it on our own, or we cannot just say one state can do it, or Delhi can do it, or Haryana can do it. All of us have to get in the act, including the industry. I'd like to now go on to you, Dhamija sir, and I want to find out if Snigdha, you've joined us. So when you come, I'll ask you 2 questions. Meanwhile, Dhamija sir, एक बहुत जरूरी सवाल आपके लिए, जो हमारे बच्चे काफी देर से पूछना चाह रहे हैं, और मैं नहीं जानती कि उसका आप किस तरह से आंसर करेंगे, बट सवाल है कि वैक्सीन आएगी तो कब आएगी? और मेरा सवाल ये है आपसे कि 115 म्यूटेशंस हो चुके हैं कोविड के, जो मुझे पता है, हैव द फिगर्स विद मी, तो किस तरह से वैक्सीन बन रही है?
निधि जी, बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, और मुझे बड़ी खुशी है कि बच्चे भी इतने जागरूक हैं, एंड दे आर वेल अवेयर, एंड दे आर एंशियस, एंड दे आर क्यूरियस टू नो when will the vaccine come. That's a very, very motivating things for all of us, that we future of our country is so aware and so vigilant what's happening around us. So I'll come to the vaccine later on, but I want to carry on from the last speaker, that the question of penalty being imposed on the public for wearing mask or not maintaining social distance. So I agree that the enforcement of the regulations is one aspect. So the government is doing its own work, but the onus is on all of us to carry on as a citizen, as a responsible citizen, to do our own duty. This is जन भागीदारी. ये हमारा कर्तव्य है कि हम मास्क पहने. ऐसी जरूरत ही नहीं पड़नी चाहिए कि आपको पेनल्टी का डर हो और फिर आप ना पहने. आप ये समझें कि मास्क पहनने का जो कंसेप्ट है, वो ये है कि इफ आई वेयर मास्क आई प्रोटेक्ट यू and you wear mask, you protect me. So it is, mask is not only for me, of course it protects me also, 60 to 70% protection मेरे लिए भी है, लेकिन उससे ज्यादा जरूरी है कि मेरा मास्क पहनना आप लोगों के लिए बहुत जरूरी है. So that if I am having asymptomatic infection and I am sneezing or coughing or taking or speaking or singing or loudly I am speaking or giving a speech, I should not be infecting others, my listeners or my the spectators or my friends or my family or the other members of the society. So ये जो बहुत जरूरी है behavioral change. हम लोगों को सबको पता है, अब हम 10 महीने से बोल रहे हैं कि आपको मास्क पहनना है, आपको हैंड सैनिटाइजेशन करना है, आपको जो है सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग करनी है, और इन 3 चीजों के पीछे साइंस है. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम सडनली उठ के बोल रहे हैं कि आप सोशल डिस्टेंस रखिए. सो इफ द टाइम परमिट्स आई विल कम टू द साइंस. व्हाट इज द साइंस सेइंग अबाउट दिस, व्हाट इज द एविडेंस, क्यों हम कह रहे हैं और कब से कह रहे हैं. सो ये तो बात ये है कि हम लोग खुद समझें अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, अवेयरनेस सबको है, लेकिन करें हम अपने बिहेवियर को चेंज में लाएं. एंड फोर्थ डायमेंशन ऑफ दिस कोविड प्रिवेंशन इज बिहेवियरल चेंज. In addition to sanitizing, the distancing and masking, the fourth one is behavioral change. We need to change the behavior of our people. They have to accept it that this is a mandatory for all of us, in our interest, in our family's interest, and in the interest of the society. मैं आपको एक एग्जाम्पल देता हूं. जब आप सड़क पे निकलते हैं, ड्राइव करते हैं, तो आप सीट बेल्ट पहनते हैं. अगर मोटर बाइक चलाते हैं तो हेलमेट पहनते हैं. वो इसलिए पहनते हैं कि आपकी भी सुरक्षा है और जो दूसरे रोड यूजर्स हैं उनकी भी सुरक्षा की चिंता है आपको, ताकि आपके एक्सीडेंट की वजह से उनकी जान ना जाए. तो ऐसे ही मास्क है. अगर आप सीट बेल्ट पहने तो आपको आदत डालनी पड़ेगी कि आपको मास्क पहनना है जब भी आप बाहर निकलें. सो दैट इज नॉट ओनली फॉर यू बट फॉर द अदर पीपल इन द सोसाइटी. अगर आप गाड़ी चलाते हैं तो आप देखते हैं कि सामने वाला डिस्टेंस आपने मेंटेन किया हुआ है, पीछे वाला डिस्टेंस मेंटेन किया हुआ है, आपकी साइड में डिस्टेंस है. ऐसे ही आपने सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग रखनी है, ऐसे ही आपने फिजिकल डिस्टेंसिंग रखनी है, ताकि आप भी सुरक्षित रहें और आपके साथ वाले जो दूसरे लोग हैं वो भी सुरक्षित रहें. सो ऑल दीज नीड्स टू बी जस्ट लाइक ए ड्राइविंग लेसन्स. हम सब लोगों को ड्राइविंग लेसन सिखाते हैं, तो ये सब चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट और बड़ा जो है इन्फोर्स करते हैं कि नहीं आप ये चीजें करेंगे. ऐसे ही हमें अपने लोगों को ये समझाना है कि ये हमारे हित में ही है और हमारे परिवार के, हमारी सोसाइटी के हित में है. ये इतना ही जरूरी है जितना जरूरी सीट बेल्ट है या हेलमेट है या डिस्टेंस मेंटेन करना है. So this is just like a driving on the road. So you have to imbibe in your daily practice, in your daily behavior. So behavior change करना ये हमारे लिए important है. फाइन तो एक deterrence है ही, उससे जो लोग नहीं behavior change कर रहे हैं उनके लिए थोड़ा सा deterrence तो रहेगा कि कम से कम आपको you have to shell out 2,000 rupees if you are not, obeying the law of the land. So that is one aspect. रही बात अब वैक्सीन की. So वैक्सीन में आपने कहा कि 115 म्यूटेशंस हो चुकी हैं. So अभी तक हमारी जो नॉलेज आई है, it was a novel virus. Nobody knew about it 10 months back, but we have been learning over the period of 10 months. We have learned a lot about this. If you see the mortality or the death rate जो पहले था 3 से 4% था हमारा, वो 1.5 है. बाकी देशों में इससे भी ज्यादा है. So it doesn't mean कि वायरस लाइट हो गया है या वायरस की इन्फेक्टिविटी कम हो गई है. इसका मतलब ये है कि अब हमने सीख लिया है कि इस वायरस को कैसे ट्रीट करना है. सो इस वजह से हमारे जो क्लिनिकल प्रोटोकॉल्स हैं वो अब इन प्लेस हैं. हमें ये पता है कि किस पेशेंट को किस समय पर एडमिट करना है, किस समय पर हमें स्टीरॉइड्स देने हैं, किस समय पे हमें रेमडेसिविर देनी है या नहीं देनी है, किस समय पर उसको आईसीयू में डालना है, किस समय पर उसको वेंटिलेशन की जरूरत है. और वेंटिलेशन में भी हमने बहुत कुछ सीखा है कि वेंटिलेटर की बजाय अगर हम हाई फ्लो ऑक्सीजन देंगे नॉन इन्वेजिव तो वो ज्यादा काम करती है. सो ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ 6 to 9 months we have learned a lot about the treatment part. So virus has not mutated as far as so many times. So it is not like that it has become more virulent or less virulent. So that is one thing which we have learned over a period of time. रही बात कब आएगी, दिस इज $1 million क्वेश्चन. जब नॉर्मली एक वैक्सीन डेवलप करते हैं तो 10 से 12 साल लगते हैं.
18
years लगते हैं एवरेज. 10 से 12 साल, 18 years. आज तक HIV की वैक्सीन आई नहीं है. कुछ बीमारियों की वैक्सीन तब बनी जब वो बीमारी खत्म हो गई, जैसे हाल ही में जो इबोला आई थी, दवाइयां उसकी बनी लेकिन तब तक वो बीमारी खत्म हो गई. लेकिन इस समय पर पूरा वर्ल्ड जो है लगा हुआ है, वी आर ऑल रेसिंग टुवर्ड्स द वैक्सीन. सो वैक्सीन की जो स्टेजेस हैं डेवलपमेंट की, जैसे हम पहले एनिमल स्टडीज करते हैं, फिर लैब में स्टडीज करते हैं, फिर फेज 1 ट्रायल ह्यूमन ट्रायल है जो थोड़े लोगों पे सेफ्टी के लिए हम देखते हैं. फेज 2 में हम सैकड़ों लोगों के ऊपर ट्रायल करते हैं एफिकेसी के लिए, इम्यूनोजेनिसिटी के लिए. और फेज 3 ट्रायल हम 1000 लोगों पे करते हैं, 30,000 लोगों पे. सो अब की बार क्या किया है कि रेगुलेटर्स ने ये कहा है कि आप फेज 1 और फेज 2 इकट्ठे करिए, क्लब कर दीजिए, फेज 2 फेज 3 इकट्ठे करिए पैरेलल वे में, ताकि आपको एक के बाद एक नहीं जाना पड़े। पहले क्या होता था कि आप एक फेज 1 करते थे, उसके बाद डिसाइड करते थे कि आपको फेज 2 करना है या नहीं करना है, और उस फेज 2 के बाद फिर रेगुलेटर के पास जाते थे, फिर आप डिसाइड करते थे कि फेज 3 करना है या नहीं करना है, क्योंकि हो सकता है कि फेज 1 फेल हो जाए तो आप फेज 3 क्यों करें, या फेज 2 फेल हो जाए तो बहुत सारी फाइनेंशियल इंप्लीकेशन है इसके ऊपर। इस बार सरकार ने, पर्टिकुलरली यूएस ने ये कहा सभी कंपनियों को जो स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं कि आप सारे पैरेलल करिए, हम आपको कंपनसेट करेंगे आपका लॉस। अगर आपका लॉस होता है इसमें, फेज 1 फेल हो गया किसी कैंडिडेट वैक्सीन का, तो वी विल कंपनसेट इट। आप फेज 2 भी करिए साथ में, फेज 3 भी करिए साथ में, सो दैट they had an surety that they are investing in this vaccine. If they have losses, financial losses, they will be covered by the state. तो इसलिए फेज 1, फेज 2, फेज 3 ट्रायल्स इकट्ठे चल रहे हैं पैरेलल में, और इंडिया में भी 3 वैक्सीन ऐसी हैं जो 2 और 3 में चल रही हैं। और आपने पिछले हफ्ते और उससे पिछले हफ्ते देखा होगा कि फाइजर की वैक्सीन है या मॉडर्ना वैक्सीन है यूएस की, दोनों ने क्लेम किया है कि 95% तक एफिकेसी है। सो उसकी इम्प्लीकेशन हमारे कंट्री के लिए अलग है, बिकॉज वी हैव नॉट मेड एनी एग्रीमेंट विद मॉडर्ना और फाइजर, वी हैव मेड एग्रीमेंट विद ऑक्सफोर्ड वैक्सीन, जिनके रिजल्ट अगले हफ्ते 2-3 हफ्ते में आने वाले हैं। मुझे यही लगता है कि वो भी ऐसे ही रिजल्ट्स आएंगे 90 to 95% एफिकेसी वाले।
एब्सोल्युटली। एंड यहाँ मैं ये भी कहना चाहूंगी, जो सबको पता होना चाहिए that human trials of 514G have failed, and I spoke to Dr. Soumya Swaminathan on this.
Yes.
And this has also happened. So we are testing, and as you rightly said, sir, that India, from an exporter of from an importer of masks and all this, in these 5 to 8 months, we have shown phenomenal progress, and we are now exporting masks. So we've done a lot of learning and pre-learning. But we only hope, and I'll ask Sarat sir this question a little later, we only hope and pray that there are no vaccine wars. That is another thing we need to look at, that it is my vaccine and it's not mine. And I think
so vaccine nationalism, that's called vaccine nationalism.
Vaccine nationalism, or whatever you want to call it, because the less developed countries, I would like to say here, who do not have the money to afford the vaccine, should also be given the vaccine. And wonderful things that you've told us about the vaccine, I agree with most of them, but the mutation is there, sir. Now I'd like to ask Chandrabhushan ji, since Snigdha is not here. Sir, one last question before we take the Q&A that is flashing on my screen from the children. Chandrabhushan ji, आपसे जानना चाहूंगी, ये जो इंडस्ट्री एंड एकेडमिया का कोलैबोरेट सजेस्ट किया है सभी ने, रश्मि सर ने भी कहा है that the entire industry and the policy makers and the academia should get together. Do you think that is possible? If so, how? Chandrabhushan sir. Sir.
हाँ, I think हर एक जगह मल्टी स्टेक होल्डर कोलैबोरेशन ऑलवेज वर्क्स। मतलब if everyone comes on the table and everyone's concerns are taken into account, then any law or regulation or collaboration has widest possible acceptance. तो जैसे कि अभी जो बना है the new committee, the new authority that has been set up in Delhi, I agree that one of the main objective of setting up this authority also is to bring everyone on the table. Pancho state ke representative will be there, central government will be there. There are representation from civil society as well. I would have liked some more representation from civil society and scientific community. That is a different perspective, but overall, I think the design is reasonably balanced in terms of bringing everyone together on the table. So, mere andaz se there is always a big advantage also for the government to take into consideration the opinion of everyone in moving ahead.
Correct, sir. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to take some questions from our children, and after that I'll ask you for your vision statement, sir. तो पहला सवाल आपसे ही है चंद्रभूषण जी, stopping garbage bins, what is the emergency plan of the government? This comes to you from Divya Singh of class 10th.
Sorry, I couldn't get the question.
how do we stop the garbage disposal is what, and smelting and all of these things, sir?
See, at the end of the day, garbage is our responsibility.
Right.
What we have done over a period of time to make it a responsibility of the government. हमारे घर से जो गंदगी निकलती है वो हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. हमारे शरीर से जो गंदगी निकलती है हम अपने शरीर को साफ करते हैं. We take bath, we brush our teeth, we do everything. But what happens to the waste that comes out of our house? We just collect it and throw it out and make it the responsibility of the government. My suggestion to Divya would be that we can do a lot in terms of managing our waste at home itself. We can segregate waste, we can compost waste. If we do these kind of things, the lot of waste problem that we see can be reduced significantly. So waste is our responsibility. Let's not make it government's responsibility. Government comes later. First responsibility of waste management is our own.
बिल्कुल सही आपने जैसे कहा समाज कुछ तो करेगा. Saraj sir, the question that is asked for you, I'd like to read out, that is also coming from our children, and they are asking you something again on COVID-19 vaccine, and any timelines that you have in mind as to when children can, start going to school or probably start going to play. What would you like to tell all of them, sir? Very difficult.
I go by Serum Institute's official release, Poonawala's statement. And I think if they get all the necessary regulatory approval, we expect it in April this year, in the coming year. And I think, that's a good news. See, that's extremely heartening. But you see, but the downside of this is that it may, if you were to vaccinate the whole country, a country about 1.36 billion people, it would go up to 2024. Now, I compared that with UK. I mean, we now have 2 vaccines, at least now with stage 3. They start vaccinating from next month, the Pfizer, which problem is, of course, it has to be kept in Arctic conditions, minus 70 degrees Fahrenheit. You need to have that kind of infrastructure. But the priority age group is 80 plus, so they would start vaccinating them from next month. And they say that we will be able to complete most of this task by another 6 months. So why we are taking about 3.5 years if you start our process in the month of April next year? So that's something that you really need to worry about. But since there are about 200 vaccines on different stages of development, at least about 7-8 of them in stage 3. So I expect that you just wait for next 7-8 months, you would have many more coming into the market. It would be just like a common drug, over-the-counter drug probably, you see. And so that's something. But the difficult part is that how we manage our lives for next 4 or 5 months. Particularly the old adults. You see, I'm really concerned about the old adults and the healthcare workers in the front line.
Absolutely, yes.
Dr. Dhamija would be a better authority to talk about this. I'm an activist, so you put me under my university logo, but because I run these Corona foundations, rather I want to be known as a health activist, and we play second fiddle to the healthcare authorities and professionals like Dr. Dhamija.
Thank you so much for that insight, and I totally agree. But we're hopeful that the next Children's Day, that is November 11th, they would be able to celebrate in school. Looking at it from that point of view. And now my next question goes to you, Rashmi sir. This question is been asked by Ritvik of class 10th. He's asking whether enhancing parking fee to stop vehicle pollution would help, if at all, and if not, what other measures. Another question asked by Stuti is also for you, Rashmi sir. I'll give you 2 questions straight away, which is that the damage of the ozone layer and how it affects India's global perspective, sir.
Okay. The parking fees ke issue par, I agree with this child completely that the users of private vehicles should be charged reasonably high so that they don't misuse the public space. And this should happen not only in marketplaces, it should also happen in the residential areas. You know, people are acquiring more and more vehicles for their private use. You go to any high-end residential colony, people have 3 vehicles. The parking slot is only one, and they don't make provision for the garages inside their houses or in their buildings. So it is extremely necessary that we should have a policy to regulate the parking spaces and regulate the owners of the private vehicles. As far as the ozone layer is concerned, fortunately, this problem is slightly under control because of the actions taken by the international community together. And Montreal Protocol is the international law which governs this issue. उसमें अभी recently क्या हुआ है कि ओजोन की जो प्रॉब्लम होती है उठती है वो इसलिए होती है कि जो केमिकल्स हम यूज करते हैं रेफ्रिजरेंट्स में या कंडीशनिंग में या कूलिंग सिस्टम्स में दे डैमेज द ओजोन लेयर तो हमें वी हैव टू मूव टुवर्ड्स those chemicals which are less globally warming and less and they don't cause damage. तो जहां तक ओजोन लेयर के डैमेज का सवाल है वो तो मोर और लेस कंट्रोल हो गया है, लेकिन they are still contributing to global warming. So we have to move to that situation where they become more energy efficient, cause less global warming as well. So now we are talking about zero, pollutants, chemicals which don't cause global warming and also don't cause damage to ozone layer. So this is still work in progress. अभी इस पर काम चल रहा है.
Absolutely, work in progress. Dhamecha sir, बड़ा interesting question एक आपके लिए आया है. How do we safeguard ourselves during this winter and the pandemic? Saranya is asking this question from class 6th. मतलब जैसे सर ने कहा अभी, रश्मि सर ने, मैं उस पर कुछ ऐड करना चाहूंगी पहले तो आपके जवाब से पहले कि अगर 4 लोग हैं घर में, चारों के पास अलग अलग गाड़ियां हैं तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा फाइन, और आप सरकार में हैं, आप कितनी सारी कमिटीज में हैं, इसे तो आप एकदम लागू कर लीजिए सर प्लीज.
इसमें मैं भी ऐड करना चाहता हूं बिफोर आंसरिंग दैट चाइल्ड्स क्वेश्चन. सो रश्मि सर हैं यहाँ पे, तो उनके लिए मैं स्पेशली एक सजेशन देना चाहता हूँ फ्रॉम माय ओन पर्सपेक्टिव. सो नंबर ऑफ व्हीकल्स यू सी पर फैमिली, हाउ टू रिड्यूस दैट. So almost all Western countries, why they are developed, why we are not developed and we are going poorer and they are going richer. अगर आप, I have lived in Australia for many years, अगर आप एक गाड़ी खरीदते हैं तो आपको हर साल आपको रोड टैक्स देना पड़ता है. हमारे यहाँ पे एक बार गाड़ी खरीदते हैं, लाइफ टाइम आपका रोड टैक्स है. So why can't we have yearly road tax? गवर्नमेंट को मनी भी बहुत मिलेगी और लोगों को ये डेटरेंस भी रहेगा कि आपको उतनी ही गाड़ी रखनी है घर पे जितनी आपको जरूरत है. सिर्फ खड़ी करने के लिए 5 गाड़ी नहीं होंगी, क्योंकि आपको हर साल इंश्योरेंस भी देना पड़ेगा, आपको हर साल 25,000 रोड टैक्स भी देना पड़ेगा. So that is a big, I think it is all over the world, even in US, UK, Australia, they charge every year the road tax. So you have to charge because you are using public roads for your private work. So you have to pay every, like for my own registration. I have a medical registration in UK, GMC. I have a medical registration in Australia, and I have a medical registration in India. So I pay yearly charge to Australia for my medical registration, yearly fees, so that I can carry on as a license to practice medicine in Australia. But in India, you pay only once for lifetime. So I am registered in Medical Council of India. I paid at that time 500 rupees or so, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So I don't have to pay anything else. So in those countries, you have to maintain your license. You have to complete so many formalities of continuing medical education, and then you pay fees also, $1,000 every year. So that way, if you charge every car every year for using road as a road tax, the government will make money and the people will be deterred to, use or buy more and more vehicles. So that's one thing which I wanted to add regarding the vehicles, parking fees, and the tax. Now coming back to how to protect ourselves. So it's very simple. The winters months, there's a dryness in the air. So we need to maintain the relative humidity of 40 to 60%. That is an ideal. So when the air is dry, the virus tends to, be in the air. And when the air is a little bit moist, not fully 100%, 100% is just like sponge filling full water. If you have a sponge and you fill it with water, it will be fully that way. And बिल्कुल light जो है, उसमें बिल्कुल जो है virus जो है जम के रुकेगा. तो 40 to 60% humidity is right. You protect yourself with not going in the mornings, particularly when there is a smog and the temperature is low. That's the second thing. And third is try to be in a ventilated place, not try to be in a closed door all the time with heaters on or the AC on and not venturing outside. Try to go at least when there is a sun, you go and have some vitamin D outside. So these are the things which you should practice in these winter months, and do not go to crowded places. Never go unless it is something like, if you are going to a crowded place, you are inviting virus to infect us. So लोग मेरे से पूछते हैं कि हम अपनी इम्यूनिटी कैसे बढ़ाएं, हम क्या क्या खाएं, कैसे कैसे अपने आप को प्रोटेक्ट करें. सो दिस इज अगेन ए मिथ. आप कितनी इम्यूनिटी बढ़ा लेंगे? अगर आपने जिंक खा लिया, आपने विटामिन सी खा लिया, आपने विटामिन डी खा ली और फिर क्राउड में चले गए, मार्केट में चले गए, तो सारा सत्यानाश हो गया. दैट जिंक इज नॉट गोइंग टू प्रोटेक्ट यू. आप अगर बाहर नहीं जाएंगे तभी प्रोटेक्शन मिलेगी आपको. अगर आप मास्क पहनेंगे तभी प्रोटेक्शन मिलेगी आपको. बाकी इम्यूनिटी एक दिन से या 2 दिन से, 1 महीने से नहीं आती है. और इम्यूनिटी के साथ साथ थोड़ा हम कंप्लेसेंट भी हो जाते हैं. हम वी लेट आवर गार्ड्स डाउन कि हमने ये ले लिया, वो ले लिया, और हम लापरवाह हो गए या कोविड फैटीग हो गए कि बहुत हो गया, हम 9 महीने से हम घर में बंद बैठे हैं. बच्चे भी सोचते हैं कि ऑनलाइन स्कूलिंग चल रही है, कि बंद कमरे में बैठे हैं, बाहर निकलें. बट देन गोइंग आउटसाइड यू हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी केयरफुल. डोंट गो टू ए क्राउडेड प्लेस. गो जस्ट व्हेन देयर इज ओपन प्लेस. पार्क में गए हैं, कहीं खेला है या प्ले ग्राउंड में गए, दैट इज ओके. But not to a shopping spree or a market flooded in Sarojini Nagar or Kamla Nagar or malls or something like that. So that is the best part to avoid and practice this behavior change during these difficult times.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with what you said. I'd like to add to that, for the benefit of all our children today, that and this is strictly, I'm just taking you back to the 1990s when we had the breakfast revolution, and our tables were flooded with oatmeal, pumpkin, sesame, all of that, and that kind of food, and cornflakes. And then comes the Wuhan virus 2020, and we look at our cupboards for turmeric, for haldi, for avla, for all these kind of immunity builders. And on that note, I'd like to thank all the panelists on behalf of Cambridge School, Greater Noida, for joining us for this very, very interesting discussion today. Due to paucity of time, I think we'll go ahead with a part 2 on this, as India is on the forefront of fighting against climate change. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री ने कई बार कहा है that we need to bring down the temperatures by 2 degrees Celsius by the turn of the century. And let us not throw caution to the wind. Let us all be very careful, and we will soon get over this. आखिर में इतना कहना चाहूंगी कि भारत जीतेगा और कोरोना हारेगा. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the cocktail that is dangerous, effects of winter and coupled with COVID. I thank all the panelists for joining us today on behalf of Cambridge School, Greater Noida. Namaste, and thank you for watching.